You're in the mix.
SKM presents Strictly for the Music Podcast. You are now live with the #1 podcast for all upcoming artists worldwide.
It's the real deal.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. It's the Strictly for the Music Podcast. I'm your host, SKM, and it's this I got live and direct. It is a country Americana singer-songwriter with 2 released singles, I'm Not the Devil, and I've Been to Hell. You can have it. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, let's introduce our guest, Christopher Wright.
How's it going, man?
Man, I just want to say thank you. It's been a blessing to have you on this platform. Man, can you tell the audience what inspired you to do music, and what was your debut single that you came to show the world?
Yeah, man. I started writing music a long time ago when I was a kid, and I wrote a song. I was 15 years old, and it's actually on this album. There are 4 tracks out there on this album now, but man, it's been a long process, man. I always knew I was wanting to be in music one way or another, but it's kind of one of those deals where, whenever I was growing up, everybody told me to go get a real job.
Right.
So it was kind of one of those things where, man, I kind of went through high school and college and all that, and played the guitar and things of that nature. But man, when I got out of college, I did that. I got a real job and went to work in corporate America and all that stuff. And man, I had a family and had the dog and the picket fence and all that good stuff, brother. And then basically what ended up happening was life happened, man. I got kind of spun sideways, man. Long story short, and I can get into all the details as we go, but man, I got sober about 4 years ago. I pulled my head out of my ass and decided I was going to go ahead and start following through with my dream. So that was when I got serious about actually recording all this stuff and actually coming out and getting it put out to the world.
All right, man, that's great. So what was the first single you released?
I released a song called Mistress of Intoxication back in March of this year. And then we had let's see, the next song that we released was actually the song was called The Calm Inside of Me, and that track was the song that I wrote when I was 15 years old. And then we had another one called it's I've Been to Hell and You Can Have It was the next track, and then we released I'm Not the Devil.
All right, man. So what was the creative process creating Mistress Intoxication?
And I wrote that song when I was in college, and if you were to ask any of my buddies that went to Texas Tech University with me, man, I think the nuance behind that song has probably changed for me over the years, because obviously the Mistress of Intoxication for me back then was basically anything and everything I could get my hands on, but when it came down to it, as I kept on playing that song, and a buddy of mine who's no longer here with us, he asked me if I was ever going to record that song. It just so happens that he passed away of alcohol related illness. So it's kind of ironic that he was one of the people that called me and asked me about that song and whether or not I had recorded it. So a couple weeks before he passed, I actually I sent him a copy of the song that we had recorded out there in Nashville, and I'm sure that he got to hear it because he responded to me, but I never unfortunately got the chance to see him after that.
Well, man, I'm sorry to hear that about your loss. Send my condolences out to you and his family. Wow. So besides that, man, I've Been to Hell and You Can Have It. What inspired you to write this song?
Yeah, man, that song is so it's exactly like it says, man. I've been to hell and you can have it. So the opening lyric in the song is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Right, is what you normally say. Well, I just kind of spun it and said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him think. And that's exactly what was happening to me for a long time, man. People would be telling me that my life was kind of out of control there for a while, but you know what? There's nothing that you were going to do to be able to tell me how to spin out of that. I had to learn it for myself. And you know, I had a buddy of mine that I was trying to explain that very thing to him, and he just kept on bumping his head up against the wall, bro. So I ultimately just said, you know, it's kind of one of those deals. I threw my hands up and said, man, you know, I've been to hell, bro. You can have it. You know, I saw the way that it was going for him. So yeah, I wrote that song, and it's done really well. It's almost got 10,000 streams now.
Wow, wow. So let me ask you this, man. So was it this year that you broke into the music scene?
It is, man. This was the day. What a great year to launch an EP, right? In the middle
Right.
of a globe. I'm like, you know, I got all that stuff done, and we recorded the album in January, and I'm thinking, you know, the only thing's nothing can slow me down, man. And then, you know, a global pandemic happens. So you know, I've kept a positive attitude through the whole thing, and we just realized that we were going to have to rely on digital promotion to try to get this rocket ship off the ground. And so since then, I've just been making an amazing amount of really cool connections, such as yourself, my friend, that have helped us to gain a little bit of awareness about the music and getting it out there to the people.
Wow, that's really amazing. So let me ask you this, man. Whenever you stepped into the music scene with your debut single, what was the feeling like? What was the emotions you were going through at that time?
Man, I did not know what the hell I was doing. I mean, to be honest, I thought, you know, I thought basically that whole time growing up, man, my idea of the music business was I was thinking I was going to fall off a bar stool into a record contract, but apparently I just fell off a fucking bar stool. Excuse my language, but yeah, that's the way that works, man. And I didn't realize it was going to take this much work to get it done, but I'm glad for the journey. But you know, like yeah, when I first started recording it all, there was just a mountain of questions, and you know, and to some extent, they're still there. You know, I'm just still learning and still growing with all of the changes that are going on in this business. So it's just you know, I think it's going to be an ever hopefully flattening learning curve, but you know, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to keep up with the pace.
All right, man. Man, I'm not the devil, man. What made you write this song, bro?
So I didn't write "I'm Not the Devil." Actually, a guy named Cody Jinks wrote that song. Cody Jinks is a songwriter here in Halton City, just outside of Fort Worth, Texas. He wrote that song, and the first time I heard it, bro, it hit me right between the eyes and grabbed a hold of my heart because it literally is about the song is just saying, you know, I'm not the devil you think I am, you know, and you know, we're only human and we make mistakes, kind of thing. And so I went out and I learned, that was one part of the learning curve. I realized that, you know, to do that song the right way, I went out and got the mechanicals and everything and paid for the rights to be able to record that song. So we recorded it out in Nashville with Off the Road Studios, and I had to put it on this album because I wanted my daughters to hear it. I haven't gotten a chance to be a part of my daughter's life for about the past 7 years, man. So it was something that I really wanted to get a timestamp on and let them know that you know, I'm not the devil that you think I am, and it was something important to me. So that's the only track on the album that will be covered.
All right. So let me ask you this. So you said that you got sober 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is music therapeutic to you?
Oh, absolutely, man. It became my purpose and telling my story, and absolutely, whether it's just sitting with a guitar and writing, or just you know, just passing time with learning new things, new tricks on the guitar, or for that matter, just getting something that I really want to say. It seems like when I can get it together in a song, it tends to allow me to move on by whatever emotion that might be hanging me up. And it's a hell of a lot more healthy than grabbing a bottle of whiskey. I can promise you that.
All right, man. All right, so the calm side of me, man, is this a version of you being the sober you and you being able to beat that?
Yeah,
Other
when I wrote that song when I was 15, which is kind of crazy, man. Because so in the summer of 2018, my mom was there. My folks out here in Dallas were kind of clearing out their garage, and she called me and told me basically to come get my shit out of the garage because she was cleaning it out, and if I didn't want anything, that was in there, it was going to get thrown away. So, so I eased over there and started kind of rifling through some of the boxes and stuff that I had over there in the garage, and just so happened that there was some old sheet music in there that I was writing when I was a kid, and that song, it's really kind of mind blowing because it literally is about finding the calm inside of me, which it was almost like me calling my shot. I had no idea when I was 15 years old that I would go through everything that was to go through in the next 25 years or so. So it was basically kind of calling my shot, man. So if you listen to the song, the lyrics, and it's kind of crazy to think that a 15-year-old wrote that song, but that's what happened.
That's amazing, man. So do you have any upcoming music videos for any upcoming project or projects maybe you already released?
Yeah, so we're gonna do. We got a music video that we're working with some of the producers over at the Country Network in Fort Worth. The guy named Don Mills. He's an amazing videographer, and he's done. I mean, the list of accolades that he has on his resume, I don't, couldn't even begin to scratch the surface of explaining how accomplished he is. But so I've gotten the opportunity to get to know him a little bit better, and so we'll be working with him coming up probably early next year. Then I've got 4 more tracks that we're going out there to record off the road studios. Hopefully, it's either going to be before this year's out or right at the beginning of the year. Depends on how everything works out with this whole shutdown thing, and we're kind of at the mercy of the landscape, really. But yeah, man, we should have 8 tracks total, which constitutes a full album. So we'll have the album is actually the title of it's "Losing Everything I Never Had." So it's been a roller coaster ride of a year for sure, but I can truly say that I'm definitely been blessed. That's for certain.
All right, all right. So during this pandemic, I know there ain't no concerts going on, but have you ever done any like open mic, um, talent shows, anything that you perform live in front of an audience?
Oh yeah. I got a chance to just a couple of weeks ago. We played. I opened for Rachel Stacy and Flatline Road over at the Gas Monkey Grill here in Dallas. Played. There's a local spot over here called the Millhouse Stage. It's in downtown Garland, Texas, and we played it here at Guitars and Growlers. And there's a couple of little spots around here that have kind of tested the waters about opening up, but it's been kind of touch and go, just because of the pandemic. So we're just getting in where we fit in.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What was it like performing for the first time in front of a live crowd?
Man, the first time, I guess first time I performed in front of a live crowd was I don't know, it was probably 20 years ago, I guess. And I was probably drunk. I mean, honestly, I guarantee you I had fun. I probably didn't sound near as good as I thought I did, but I know I had fun. I think I was. I think I probably forgot several of the lyrics and things of that nature. But doing it sober is a different thing altogether because it's a little bit. First of all, it's a lot easier to remember the words that you have, remember all the lyrics to keep your head right. But at the same time, the nerves actually probably are a little bit more because you don't quite have your inhibitions lowered, but you can get a chance to feel the whole experience. So, it's once you settle into the rocking chair, it's so to speak, and you kind of get up there and you get that first tune out of the way, everything's gravy from there.
All right, that's dope, man. Let let me ask you this, man. Do you have any future collabs you're working on right now, or is that something that's not in mind right now?
Yeah, man. Actually, I'm working on a song with a guy out here. His name's Caleb McIntyre. He's a badass dude. He actually was a Capitol Records recording artist for a long time. He's out of like Arkansas, Missouri kind of area. He's an Ozarks cat. So he moved out here to Texas a couple years back, and he's doing the Texas music scene out here. And we actually met up over at the Gas Monkey Grill, and he asked me to put my number in his phone, man, and we started chatting. And he had a song that he wanted me to listen to, and I listened to it, and it blew my socks off. So I'm happy to say that we'll be able to kind of work on putting that thing down. The song's called Snow Angels. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. Okay, so if you could collaborate with any band, musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Man, I think that there's a lot I have that I would love to learn from, or just to be a fly on the wall with the Zach Brown band. Those guys are they're amazing. The way that their professionalism and just how just razor sharp they are. I've seen them a couple of times live, and they're just absolutely amazing. I think I gained a new respect for just live performing when I saw them. I think that would probably top of mind right now. That would be the top of the list. But man, that's a long list. I mean, there's so many people that I'd also like to sit down with the King, man, sitting with George Strait, man. And if we say dead or alive, man, you know what? I would have to say I never realized how big of an Elvis fan I was until I started really getting into some of his stuff and how silky smooth that man was. So, there's a wide gap. Hell, there's also, man, you know what? I would love to sit down with DJ Run and DMC, man. Those guys were fly as fuck when I was a kid, man. So,
Right,
my language.
you're good, man.
You may have to edit. You may have to edit out my language. I try to clean it up as much as possible.
Oh man, you're fine, man. It's your episode, man. You know what I mean? Express how you feel, man. Okay. Oh man, I did myself on this one. All right. So let me ask you this, man. If you had enough supporters, and you guys all took a vote, the majority vote wins, would there be a chance that you could do like a live performance, maybe on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, any live streaming platform? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, man, that's dope. Okay, so what makes you different from other artists in the industry?
Man, you know what? I don't know exactly what makes me different, because I feel like there's so many different degrees of difference. I'd like to think that since I've kind of started on a different path, that I'm doing my very best at living a life with with loving kindness, man, and most of all, trying to be honest with myself, man. And I think that if I can do that, maybe it'll shine through with some of my music, and maybe it might be able to help that one person that might be out there that might resonate with something that I'm singing about, that might be able to get their attention long enough to make somebody think for a minute. So I really just I really think it's just about being honest, man, and that's what my goal is in here.
All right. Do you have a message for the youth?
Yeah, man. You know what? I think that the most important thing that I was missing the whole time was you hear it all the time, and it sounds kind of cliche, but to thine own self be true, man. That's so true. If you can really be truthful to who it is that you really are, once you find out who you really are and why you were really put here, to be true to yourself, and not to waver on that, man. Not to compromise.
So, who is your music targeted towards?
I'd say the country artists were the country, I guess, landscape it's definitely been a strong influence on me. So I'd say that my music's definitely geared towards country and western music. So I'd have to say it'd probably be folks that want to hear country music with soul, not just talking about drinking and mudding in the trucks and stuff like that, man. It has a little bit more meat to it than that, I hope. So
That's amazing, man. So, you're really trying to reach to the people and grab them by the soul and bring them into your music. That's
That's
dope, man.
right. That's it.
All right. So, man, favorite quote or favorite line you ever wrote in a song?
Favorite quote or favorite line I ever wrote in a song. You know, I'd have to say it would be angels and demons all around my bed, tapping on one side of the other, wondering what the other one said.
All right, that's amazing, man. So, man, what was it like growing up, man?
Man, you know, I grew up in a little town called Hawkins, Texas, out in East Texas, just north of Tyler. And, you know, there wasn't a whole bunch of folks out there. My family is like third generation or fourth generation out there, actually. And, man, we really didn't really do without. My dad loved me, mom loved me, and all that good stuff. You know, we had like there's a bunch of rowdy shit going on out there in the woods in East Texas, man. But you know, nobody really shot anybody's dog or anything like that. You know, we had a lot of fun and all that good stuff. I think there wasn't really, you know, wasn't. I mean, it's just like there was beer and alcohol was always a part of things, you know. So I mean, from an early age, we started drinking and doing things out. You know, it wasn't a whole lot to do. So hell, I was drinking cold beer by the time I was 12 or 13 years old, and I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't really know any better. So as I kind of grew up, go through high school and stuff, I graduated from Allen High School here in the Dallas area. Man, I was homecoming king at Allen High School in 1995, and that was all downhill from there. No, um, but yeah, man, I thought everything, pretty well, it was pretty functional all the way through college. You know, I just partied plenty, got in a fraternity. You know, I was out there and started playing the guitar and played on a couple of little bars around there. Played around, and Pat Green and Corey Morrow were out there when I was out there, but they were being serious with their music, so they went on and did something special with themselves. I actually just decided that when I graduated from college, I went to like I said, I went to work in the corporate world, and man, from then on, it was like I've got two daughters and had been married and divorced. Just got remarried actually this past October. So, but it had been between 12 years, so I wasn't in a hurry to redo it. But man, it's just been it's been one thing after another, man. Everything happens for a reason, and it's definitely been a blessing. As I look back on it, I don't think I'd do anything different, to tell you the truth.
All right, all right. So, do you have any music guilty pleasures?
Music guilty pleasures. Man, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure, bro, but I'm gonna have to say that Justin Timberlake is a badass, bro. I mean, that dude's just. I mean, he might be kind of pop-esque or anything like that, but I don't know. I think I think that guy is probably like, as far as like a man crush musically, man. That dude's he can do it all. But yeah, that I don't know if that necessarily be considered a guilty pleasure, but man, nothing like any boy bands or anything like that, man. So
Okay. All right. So, man. So, if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing?
well, I run a company actually. I run a business here in Dallas. I'm a contractor. So I started my company 3 years ago, and that's what I do right now to make a living. So when I got a business it's a successful contracting business here in town. So that's what I do to pay for to be out there. Being able to be a musician is expensive. So I had to build up a little bit of capital to go out there and get my stuff recorded. So independent artists like myself, we just have to kind of fight our way through it. At least that's what I'm learning as we go.
All right, man. What are your goals in 2021?
Well, my goal is to be able to get my music monetized to the point to where I can do it full time. I really want to be a full time artist. I want to be able to write and collaborate and perform and do everything to where that I can do it full time and be able to help my wife and my family out as far as monetarily goes. So that's really where I want to be. You know, my dream is to be able to do what I love and get paid for it, and that would be making music.
All right, man. That's amazing. So, do you have any advice for any upcoming band or artist in your local area?
You know what? I think that what I'm finding is that don't meet a stranger. Always be nice to people. Always realize that don't burn any bridges. You know, treat everybody like you want to be treated. I know that all sounds kind of cliche, but it's the truth. It's a real story. And then, you know, relationships are huge. Just to, you know, cultivate relationships and be willing to do whatever it takes. And, you know, within, you know, so long as you can feel good with your conscience, you know, to realize that it's going to be a lot of work and to bust your ass. That's the way I'm going with it right now, man. But I'm early in the game, so.
All right, man. All right. So, let me ask you this, man. What is the best advice you've been given?
Best advice I can give, man. I'm not in the business
No,
of giving
no,
advice.
no. I said the best advice you've been given. Like, has anyone told you
Oh,
something that stuck with you like
oh.
forever?
Best advice that I've been given. I think the best advice that I've been given, probably, you know, when it comes to a lot of different situations, to don't believe everything you see and only half of what you hear.
All right.
Or is it backwards? Yeah, it is. Don't believe everything. Don't believe anything you hear and a half of what you see. I think it's
Yeah.
one way or
Yeah.
another.
There you go. All right, man. All right. All right. So, man, how is your music going to evolve from here on out, man? What can we expect from you?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to have our all the new tracks will be done by the spring, and we'll have a total of 8 songs out there, and then we'll just keep plugging them into set list and playing them live and getting the word out there and getting the merchandise out there and just growing, man. Meeting new people, spreading our wings, trying to see new cities and play in front of new people.
All right, man. All right. So, you got any special shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I definitely want to give a shout out to Rachel Stacy and Michael Moulton, Caleb McIntyre, Don Mills, all those people that have been hugely influential with me, and Aaron McCaffrey and PT Houston out there at Off the Road Studios. Oh man, those folks, they really got the ball rolling for me. There's been some amazing photographers that I've worked with too that have been really cool to work with. It's just been Duke Morris and Cindy Dawn, a couple of other hands that have been around. But man, you know, Jack Burris, he owns the Texas Music Lab here in Plano. Just an amazing friend and mentor to me. And Randy Dees and my mom and dad and my wife and all that good stuff, man. So
All right, man. All right. So, go ahead and plug in all your social media outlets and let everyone know where they can find your music so they can stream.
all right. Yeah, so you can find it's ChristopherWrightMusic.com is the website. You can find us out there on Instagram at Christopher Wright Music and on Facebook the same way, Christopher Wright Music. I think it's actually the address is Christopher Wright Country, and we have our Twitter is out there. It's actually at W Live, and we have our YouTube channel is kind of getting up and running. It's all kind of a work in progress right now, but Christopher Wright Music is up there right now and live and on Spotify and iTunes and Pandora and all the streaming platforms. We've got we're starting to get a lot of traction out there right now.
All right, man. All right, man. So, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you want to speak on right now?
Man, no, I think you covered a bunch of it. I appreciate the time and for the interview. It's been eye opening, and I appreciate your effort.
Man, I appreciate you coming on and blessing this platform, man, because, we just a platform that's out here trying to spread every upcoming artist Whether you're any kind of genre, it doesn't really matter. It's about the art and it's about what the artist creates. So man, it's a blessing to have you. The honor was ours, and it's the Stick for the Music podcast. Everyone go follow Christopher Wright. Go get his new album. Look out for his new album, new EP, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
All right.
man. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. So this is Strictly for the Music podcast. Thank you to all the listeners out there that tuned in and stay loyal to us because without you, this wouldn't be possible. For the music